Hello there, and today on TerraTech Worlds 4 version 0.6, we are going to show you how to make a nice powerful tech using all the modifiers that are in this game now, since building our techs has changed, and so have the modifiers, and I'll show you how to take advantage of all this stuff and teach you about all the different parts, the pros and the cons, and everything else involved in building a nice tech like this, which can do a huge amount of damage, and then all the parts are going to have, amplify and armor and nanobot repair at the maximum plus 10 value, the 100% and 80% damage reduction. So any part I stick on there, for example, is going to have that nice little effect on there. I put that part on there, and there you go. You'll have the armor and the nanobot repair, and then if they have, use for amplify and all that kind of fun stuff. And so we're not using any cores in this build, and of course, as you add more fusion cores, you can add more stuff and make it more versatile. And we have a little bit more room for customization for yourself. But also at the moment, you see all these propellers. They are free at the moment to put on your tech. They don't take any of your capacity for your tech right now, so they are a nice free boost. And with the 8 of them I have on there, I believe you can fly with those if you want, or you can just turn them upside down and helicopter around. But this is more about speed of moving around and the versatility and stuff like that. So on the basics of building your tech, the Z key will move you up and the X key will move you down, and hit that K button there so you can see the firing arcs on your weapons and which direction you're going to be going for your propeller. So these propellers are pointing a little bit down, which is keeps me on the ground a little bit more, but that doesn't really matter at the moment for a tech that's not for flying. But we have the center of mass, which is important too for that, but that can be a distracting thing. But you want it as big as arc as possible for your weapons, and you want your weapons, for me, I want that recycle up at maximum value, because farming for this ammo can be a little bit of a pain in the butt, and you just want to fire to your heart's content and blow stuff up. And that's what you can do with the turrets right here once you get those. And of course, you can sit there and use grenades beforehand and all that kind of stuff. It's just as you can see, well, this whole here tech build right here is a clusterfuck of frames, and that's what we're using for all the boosts to get everything maxed out over there. So for our frames and stuff like that, and plus the tech, we'll go over that on the cab for a second there. But the frames is what we're doing right here. The Wolverine frame, for example, is a good use of your space on there, just a 14 for your reactor load, and it gives you a +3 to your stats, 2 to nanobot repair and 1 to amplify. So that's why we're getting the other amplify and our armor and stuff like that out of our tech. So we got 3 of these, and we are using 4 of these small frames for that extra nanobot repair for ourselves, because the 3 other +2s gives you 6, and this right here will give us the whole +10 for a repair. Even though repair isn't really that great, it's still nice to have it at +10, even though the 100% of a slow repair speed is still is not very much of a difference, right? So but that we're also using 2 more Komodo frames, which gives us a little bit extra armor, but for balancing issues, and we need that other amplify in there. It's not really great for reactor load, but the amplify is nice versus stacking some more Komodo frames that we don't really need too much. We could add 1 of these instead, type of thing. So just 1 to get the other armor that we needed, and the amplify for ourselves, or we could stick some of these in there. But it's just the balancing issue I did for mine is this. You can do whatever you feel like it, and mix and match them, but I know this looks pretty balanced out for me, and more of the stuff in the top right here to balance out your cab design. Your cab is pretty safe at the end of the day for this stuff, and we don't need armor blocks, right? So that's the bonus of having all of our blocks naturally at maximum armor. We don't really need armor blocks anymore because they don't really have much of an effect. You can use anything for armor, which is one of the other tips in this game. You can sit there and use these little taillights, for example, with a reactor load of 1. They got 100 hit points, but you stick them on your tech wherever you're gonna think you're gonna get hit, right? So, oh no, my cab needs a little bit more defense. There you go. So now that part of the cab is safe, and it's got the amplify on there for the lights, I guess. But yeah, we got the armor and nanobot repair, and shots fired at it will just hit this, and we can adjust it as we feel like it. But that's one of the things you can do for your tech as you're building it. But it's mostly about having your weapons and powerful, and the turbo is nice to have for it, but it's not necessary when you're using cannons for your weapons on there. The other weapons you might use at the start are going to be grenade launchers to get a little bit more power out of your stuff. But yeah, you want to switch over to these things as much as possible, and these ones are another good option. And we are only using 2 of our 4 slots that we have on here anyways, right? So these weapons, we're only using 2 of the buffs. And we have room to actually use them more and buff our turret set more if we want to, so we can add more turbo if we wanted to, but there's nothing else that really is going to matter for these things anymore besides the turbo. So we could add another +4 turbo to it, basically, for 70% faster attack speed on there. But yeah, it's not really necessary, and it's going to be very expensive to actually get more of those blocks for our build on here. So let's get started from scratch on there. One other thing to note, you might notice beforehand, is a nice good tip, is the wheels on here. Each of the wheels is different, and that is because all the wheels move differently on the different terrain, and you want to stack as much differences as possible. So putting the same kind of wheel on your tech is not going to be very effective at the end of the day. You know, obviously the off-road wheels are going to help you on the off-road parts, but that's just the grass and the ground. That's not going to help you out on the paved surfaces or the ice surfaces or the desert surfaces or sand or anything like that. That's what the spiked wheels come in there. That's going to help you on the ice parts of the there. But the spiked wheels help you on the ice, but not really as much on the snow versus the off-road wheels when you're traveling around in the ice biome. And the hauling wheels are just nice added feature on there when you get them later on, because they have a natural +5 turbo, and we're lacking a little bit turbo on there, but you know, we have the extra boost that we have from the propellers. But as you can see, it turns around okay. The speed is nothing to write home about, but we don't worry about the speed too much, but turning and climbing is a key factor. And all we need is just 2 of the wheels. We don't need to have all the same wheels. And then moving on the sand is a whole different thing. So if I didn't have those different wheels, I would not be able to turn like this on the beach there, or the ice, or anything like that. So that's what we're using them for. And you know, clicking in the boost, we just go a lot faster. It's a little bit too fast as we fly around there. Yeah, and these guys with the armor and stuff like that, these guys aren't really going to hurt you when they attack, right? So yeah, you shoot your guns off while you want, buddy. Just turn around. It doesn't matter where they hit, everything's blocked and armored up, so you just sit there and take all their hits. So I sat there and I took the hits from the guys firing grenades at me, and it was point blank, so they got hit by the explosions too, and they died before I lost a part. So that to me is good enough, so I can survive a one-on-one combat fight without doing anything besides just taking hits on there. But so there you have it, and that's what we want out of our techs. Nice, tanky, and powerful, with the options with the options for speed later on. So let's go ahead and show you how to build this thing from scratch and all that stuff there. So let's go there and create a new tech. These are the different cabs that you can have in the game. I don't have the ice ones. They are irrelevant to me, because as soon as you get the boat, you can just travel over to the desert biome, and if you have the money, you go in at night, you find the trader, and then you can just buy this cab anyway. So buying the ice cab is a little bit more difficult than buying the desert cab, actually. Yeah, and then of course they cost a lot of money to buy them all, and I don't want to waste more time farming and selling off parts. I wanted to scrap my parts and use them for building up the factory stuff for apparently no reason, except for making cores, I guess. So we could do that. But that's the cab we're using there, with the +5 to everything. And the next version down, the ice one will be +4 for stuff, and then you can see this one here, only +3 to 2 stats. But the movement cabs over here, and that's would be the best one, +8 to all wheels. But this one here we're not using because it's just +8 to wheels, and that is not good enough for me. I want plus to everything. And this one here, it says it's plus to everything with all that nice 520 capacitors on there for the reactor on there. But yeah, it's just not good enough. This +6, it doesn't work on everything. The guy just could not sit there and write tool. I guess that's too hard for him, or he's too embarrassed to put tool down there and make people think he's a tool, because he can't spend 5 seconds and write the actual tool letters in there to say all tool blocks. And that's what this thing does. It's basically going to work on your lasers and your terraforming stuff, where most of these other stats don't really matter. The superconductor would be the only thing that matters. It uses less power, and it needs to with this stupid cab, because it only has one battery on there, so you're stuck forcing to put batteries on there, which is going to take all that capacity on that cab anyways, right? So that is a bonus. But yeah, it's a big difference between the capacity 520 versus 450, but these stats are just a lot better, and it's a little bit more convenient to build it 3 wide with all the frames that we're using for this for our build. So let's get started on there. We just go over to the modifiers. You take your little Wolverine frames right here, and we flip them upside down. Doesn't matter where we put them at the moment. We'll just put it there, yeah, off to the side. Nice and easy off to the side. I will put those 2 down there. Hey, where'd you go? I didn't hit that button. We'll put the 2 down there for now and leave it as is, just because it's a little bit easier as we're building it with the small frames to get this stuff done. So we'll go there and take the small frame. These things go on the side, and they fit nice and convenient inside these parts right here. So we'll just go ahead and stick one on this side first. We're going to do it like this because it's just a little bit easier to navigate. There we go, we got it in there, and then flip this other one over and do it on this side and put it over here. Come on. There we go. So now that we got those 2 in there, and they fit in so nicely right there, right? And we're going to add the 2 more later on, but we're going to put our cab in the right spot. Which way is it facing? This way? Okay. That's what we want. We want it facing. Well, it doesn't matter at the moment which direction we're facing, but yeah, this thing here attaches to the small cab, the small frames at the back for our stuff. Now we're not in the cab range, so let's move over. Get back to our tech yard. Now, why we did that is because we're adding the large cargo units. And of course, we have to alternate them on our tech because they are pretty heavy, and it's going to unbalance it. And they fit so nicely right inside this little hole right here. And it's a lot easier to snap them into place, even though it's not a little bit difficult right now. There we go. Snap that into place, and then snap the other one over there in place. There you have it. So now we can go back to the other small frames that we have, and then do the other side, right? So we can try and get that in there and sink it down if we can on here. Come on, up a little bit, down. Oh well, we can just hit control, oops, pick it up again, and I guess we put one in there on it by accident. We'll just go, nope, pick this up only, don't pick up the floor, it really sucks. We'll go to here, we'll hit control and then Q, oh, no, E this time I guess, E to go down, and W that way, there we go. Oh, now it's not in there properly, bad angle. So yeah, it's such a pain. That's what I mean. You want to get all this stuff in there and have all these other blocks in there, but it's such a pain to get this stuff matched in there the proper way. No. W. There we go. Finally. I hate this system so much sometimes. It is such a pain. Like, I can't even get it close to this. Get in there. There we go. So now I just got to move this way once. There we go. And then we have our space. So each side is going to have a nice little room for whatever you want, and later on you put cores in there. So you can fit 2 cores on each of these things, and they're nice in the middle. And that's what I did for the other versions of this. When you're adding cores, is just sneak them in there, and then you'll be good to go. So let's add that other Wolverine frame. And which way are we pointing? Are we pointing this way? So we want this at the front, and we want it to stick out a 2 on the bottom, and have it nice and even. Okay, we'll just move it over this way, and then put it in like this. There we go. So you want it like a step down. So you want to make a stair thing with a space in between it. This is for the spacing on the wheels and stuff like that, for when we're doing this, right? Because that is just the way it goes for the spacing. So we can start off by, now we're going to do the wheels. And I would recommend doing the spiked wheels first for yourself. Just the smaller ones at the front. Wheels. Spiked ones, because they have to be positioned in the right way, so you're actually connected to the frame, so that they only have one space to go in there, and then you gotta flip this one here to make it even. And now we can add our off-road wheels and get that height, which is right there on the frames. Try and zoom in there. It's like there's the small frame and there's the Wolverine frame, is connecting them both, and then the huge hauling wheels we can balance out there and stick them way at the back, and they fit in. Oh, we didn't do other frames yet there, so yeah, that's what I'm missing. The other frames, we almost forgot those. The last 2 frames are going to be the Komodo frames, and we take these and we flip them up and twist them over and flip them again. There we go. There we go. This is the position that you want. So the bottom part, the narrow part at the bottom is sticking out, and the bigger part, the flatter part, is sticking in, and then they'll fit in nicely. These ones actually snap in easily, so they'll snap in there, and then we can just flip it a couple times, and then they'll snap in there nicely. So those ones aren't too hard to place. So now we got our buffs for all our blocks when we stick something on there. So I'll put this at 10. Oh, that one has an amplify on it. Actually, it's directly. I don't think it actually has a block anyway. Anyway, it doesn't matter. That's just a block we can get right now, and we can check out the buffs. So we have the armor, nanobot repair at max, so we got what we needed out of it. Now we just got to pick this thing up. There you go. Nope, I knew that was going to happen. Pick up this stupid. I'm not going to use antennas again. If it's going to be this difficult to pick up an antenna. Wow, that is garbage. Look down. Large foundation. There we go. Got it. God damn. Sometimes this game is just really, really such a piece of shit for that kind of stuff. But anyways, we'll just snap these guys in there now that we can easily do that, and they're leveled out at that place right there. So yeah, the frame didn't matter too much. It's just another connection to make it a little bit easier. But now we got our big wheels at the back, and of course now we get to the more important parts, putting our weapons down. And this is relatively easy because we have these things right here. We'll just flip them off so they're faced this way, and there you go. So we just put one there, and then now we have these ones attached to the wheels. So then we get the turbo to the wheels, so it attaches to both of them, fits in there nicely. So we get extra turbo for these wheels, and then we get that buff for our cannons that we're using. So we'll go there and grab these cannons, and we have a little bit of an offset in the middle for a spacing. And these ones here, of course, go on that part right there since they could be close together. And yeah, we got the angles right. We want them hovering over. And now for the last of our buffs is going to be the weapons clearance mounts so we get that extra recycle, because we only have that +5 global recycle, and these ones give +4, and the turbo is just for fun basically. And then we just can stick those on here. So there, and then that spot right there. We can't really put the any more buffs on those ones right there. We can add some more to those ones if we wanted to, or we could raise this stuff up and do that. But having these as a low profile is a good thing to do, so their firing arc on cannons doesn't really go down. So you want these as low as possible, so it's a little bit easier for yourself. And you can see we're not losing too much height on our stuff since we can only shoot level with up here. So you want these as low as possible, and so we can sacrifice some buffs that we're not going to use anyways, because you hit stuff with this and they're dead. We are done. 406. We still have room for other stuff, so you can go ahead and put propellers on there if they actually cost stuff now. You know, later on, things, all these buffs might cost a lot to put on there. We don't know. So, you know, we don't know right now what's going to happen the next update. You know, those big propellers might not be free anymore, and you won't be able to fly around there. So you'll be stuck using a booster basically, and then of course we're going to want to modify that booster with another rapid fire mount, because you know it has it'll use less ammo on there, and it doesn't really matter where we stick this thing, does it? We'll just put it on the bottom underneath it, make it look nice. We'll just stick. Come on, get out to the floor. I was trying to get it underneath here, but okay. Look how ridiculous this is. I just want it in there, right? Just want to stick it in there. That's what we all want, that, right? There, fuck. There you have it. We got some fuel, yeah. So now we're not using as much fuel for our booster if we don't have propellers, and we have that extra turbo on there. But yeah, recycle and turbo for it, and amplify, and all the stuff that we need. So we have all the armor and things. So let's get going and show you what we can do. Oh yeah, I gotta change the weapon things on there. I like to change this to 1s myself, and then use this for 2, and flying for the shift button there. But yeah, turning is still an issue when you're in a tight quarters. But there we go. Let's just use the boost to start going. Not as much as the propellers, but we still have a nice speed on there for ourselves. See, it's a little bit slow going through, but at least we can move. We got the precision that we need for moving around on here. There's cannons over there. Yeah, let's go over there, and we won't kill these guys. We'll just take a look at the cannon damage for ourselves. Well, not the cannon damage, but the same thing, the explosion damage that these guys have. Yeah, knock us around. Nothing's flying around there. We're taking some damage, but we have plenty of time to aim and fire at these guys if we want to. If he can hit us. So yeah, still haven't died yet. So it's nice and handy to have that. So let's go ahead and blow up somebody else, because you know he's the only one nearby that has that. We just go ahead and take up this guy. Blow him up. So pretty much dead in one shot. If you hit them all at once with one, and if like all 4 of those shots hit him at once, you're gonna get him and blow him up. But we could just, he's pretty much toast. We could just finish him off by running him over. Yeah, so the one other tip, if you didn't know, for the plants and other weaker techs, just run them over. You don't have to worry about destroying all those plants and shooting them around from far. Just go in there, and especially when you're in the swamp, those guys that shoot at you and stuff, just speed in there with a heavy tank and just run them over. And you save your ammo and time, basically, by doing that. But yeah, this is simple, cheap tech to build with the parts that you can easily acquire, basically. These are all parts that can be acquired relatively easily in this game. It's still not the best overall. Is that did I still got the spike wheels in there? Yeah. So this is just the C1 version, and you have more room to add stuff if you don't want to add turbos to it. So you still have a lot of space for yourself to actually modify this for your thing. Now, if you want to know later on, you can start making stuff like this one here. Flying cold one, I guess, is a good option to show you. This one here, it has a water heater, I mean a water cooler on there too, so it can survive a little bit in the desert with the one water cooler on there, and it has the 2 heat sinks on the side right here to make sure they're out in the open, so you can take them off when you leave the cold zones, because they don't turn off automatically or anything like that. They just turn on automatically, and then you burn to death if you're not in a cold zone. But yeah, I got the little turbo things right here, so both of these guys are turbocharged a little bit extra, and they have that recycle by stacking a couple of these on there, and added a couple more even, so just for the turbo, and add more turbo to the wheels on the back. But this has the sensor on there, the level 5 sensor, and the terrain tool, and of course the tractor beam, and it's got the 3 cores that are sneaking in the sides over there. There's 1 on this side and the 2 on this side for the cores. Then it's also the helicopter build. Everything else is the same as it was before, and it just now you can just fly around. So yeah, just go over there and fly whatever direction you want. If I want to go in the forward direction, I can just use the turbo speed, or just tilt myself and fly, and not waste energy doing that. But that's what you can do later on when you add some more cores, or these things are for free right now, and then you don't really need to worry about it. You can make any of your techs flying in a helicopter and do that, but the wider the better, so you have more stability and turning capabilities. Narrow techs won't have that. You won't be able to turn your tech very well with them. But there you go. And of course, the double turbo with the extra boost is a lot faster than it was, right? You can basically fly with this, right? It's nice and fun, right? That's what you want. You want to have a little bit of fun while you can, and not have to worry about stuff. So I can run around in multiple zones and that. So yeah, there you have it on the tips on building these techs and what some of these other effects are going to have for you. So hopefully you learned something, and you can go ahead and copy this build or modify it as you see fit to you, whatever your preferences are going to be for your techs that you build. But now that you know the basics, you know what you can do with all the modifiers in this and what they do for the stat weights. And then, at least they tell you now. So there is some good things in this. They actually tell you what all these stats do. So the superconductor is going to help you with the power consumption on stuff. But since nothing really uses it anymore, it's not that useful. You stop at the lightning gun. So as soon as you're done with the bolts and the lightning gun, there's nothing else to do with the power. The other weapons really are really that bad. Like the plasma injector, it's not bad. It's way too slow. It has a lot of connections on there, but it's just way too slow. Like, so what? You can make it cost 80% less. It's just gonna, it doesn't do enough damage. Even at maximum amplify, it's just not really that convenient at the end of the day using it. But yeah, you can just go around with whatever you want. Missiles, rifles if you want parts, that type of thing. I should make a rifle version of this, because that wouldn't be hard, right? You basically take the guns off, and then you add some rifles to it instead. And that's about it. Rifle. I could add more rifles if I wanted to. Stick forward. There you go. And let's zoom in there, and we get the buff on that one, and then move that over. There we go. And now we got rifles instead, and they have all the same stats, so that's nice right there. And firing arc. How's the firing arc on the rifles? Oh, they can shoot. Yeah, they can shoot down a little bit. Not just as bad as the other ones, but yeah, now we can just pinpoint our shots and do that with the rifle. It's the same cost for our tech doing that. So whatever weapons you use, that's the example right there. So thanks for watching, and if you want some help on my next video is going to take a while, because I'm going to show you how to get 8 of these guys, 8 of these extractors for your oil thing. So you want 8 of these running at once for one oil node, which is really handy to get those fusion cores for yourself. So I got one base that's doing 7 fusion cores, which is nice. And fusion cores are a lot easier to do, but you have to buy them in the desert and then craft them, and that's very if you don't have the ingredients yet, these are the ingredients you need to make those fusion core modules. So just try and get these ingredients, and then this will unlock, and you can build them. So you have to go to the desert and find some diamonds, and this guy can mine and stuff in the desert. So all I need, oops. So yeah, I hate that bug. I hate that stupid thing right there, weapon switching thing. It swashed my weapons around. Oh yeah, it started them off at 1. Okay, well, it does do that anyways when you're moving stuff around. But yeah, easy fix is just tab, pick it up, put it back in. Okay, put it in the inventory, then put it back in. If it will let me put it back in, of course. Come on. Oh my god. Why can't they make a snapping system that works? That's beyond me. Snap it one at a time. That's all you gotta do. This is damaged too. This is damaged too. Yeah, why am I fixing my base for you? This is the end of the video, so yeah, you can watch this frustrating stuff or say bye for now. See you later. Oh my god. Okay, I'm about to throw my computer out the window. No. God damn this game. Sometimes, right? You can't just have stuff move naturally over. But anyways, yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you later.